Okay, good. So, welcome back, scholars. This is lesson 4.2. Looking forward to seeing you soon in person. Um, I'm going to go over a couple of notes and examples here, and then I'm going to give you a few so you can try them on your own. The good news is you've actually already done this quite a bit, and it's no different. So for polynomials, when we do operations, 4.2 is about operations. That means we're going to add, subtract, multiply. Division is going to be a little different. So that's not until 4.3. But for right now, these notes are already in the notebook, so you can either print them out or just copy them as we go along. Addition and subtraction is combining like terms. You've been doing this since probably 7th grade. So I'm just going to remind you what you know. So if something has exactly the same variable and exactly the same powers, meaning the exponents, you can combine them using their coefficients because they're just like these separate things. So an x and a y can't be added together. They're different variables. An x and an x squared can't be added together. They're different exponents. But an x can be added to an x, a y can be added to a y cubed can be added to a y cubed, but they cannot be added to a y squared. So you can do this two ways. You can either do shapes, that's one way I like to do it, or I just like to take different colors and figure out which ones of these are the same. So if I'm adding all these terms, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms. Let's see which ones are the same. Okay, there are no other y cubes, so that's all by itself. But I do see that this is a y squared and this is a y squared. So I'm circling that in blue because these two can be added together. This one's all by itself. The y cubed is all by itself. So if you just have a pencil, you could do shapes as well. Okay, let's see. I'm going to pick, not that it matters here, but I'll pick a purple for my y's. Now I have a, I'll just do like a triangle, a minus y here and a minus 6y here. So I'm going to rewrite that all over here. And then last, it looks like I have a 3 and a 9. So again, if you're using a pencil, you can just do little shapes like this, but I have a +3 and I have a +9. So you can add them all together. Your final answer here is going to be minus 4y cubed. And then there's 2 of these plus 1 more. So it's going to be 3y squareds. We have a minus 1y and a minus 6y, so that's going to be minus 7y. And then we have +3 and +9, so that's going to be +12. So your final answer, when you add these two together, are like this. And remember, you also put the result in order of the highest exponent. So the y cubed comes first, and then the y squared, and then the y, and then the 12. Now, the next thing you have to remember, if you're going to subtract, you have to distribute the negative over what's being subtracted, because this is 7z squared, but you're subtracting 5z squared. This is negative 4z, but you're subtracting a negative z. So the first thing you always need to do is distribute that negative. You all know I like to rewrite stuff. So if it were me, like I would probably rewrite minus 5z squared here, and then minus minus would give me a plus z. So again, I would go back to my colors because now I have 7z squared and minus 5z squared. So these two things are the same. And then I have a minus 4z and a plus z. because I'd rather take an extra couple of seconds and get it right every time than rush. So now I have, there's 7 z-squareds here, and I'm taking away 5 of them, so I have 2 z-squareds left. And then this is minus 4z plus a 1z, so that's going to be minus 3z. And that's my final answer because the z-squareds are first, and then the z to the first is second. So it's in order, left to right. That pen needs to go away. Okay, so next we're going to move on because multiplication's a little different. So hopefully you got those. All right. Now, again, these are in the notebook if you want to print them out, but these notes will be for you with examples. I have a lot more examples because it can be trickier. But remember, when you multiply polynomials, everything has to multiply everything else. So really, you're just distributing. So when it's 2 binomials, it's just FOIL because it's 2 times 2. But when you have more, which is what we're doing now with polynomials, you're going to have the same amount of multiplication as there are terms. So make sure to take your time, draw arrows or lines or highlighters to ensure this happens properly. In the first example, for instance, you have 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and you're multiplying 2, 1, 2. So you're going to end up multiplying 6 times, 3 times 2, okay? And then, of course, you combine after that. So these examples here, they're just a little different. But just like FOIL is the first 2, the outsides, the insides last, 2 times 2, this is 3 times 2. So it's going to be these first 2. Then you're also going to do these 2. So that's your first 2 multiplying. Then the next 2 multiplying, you're going to do these 2 and these 2 because you're distributing this minus 3x on that. And then the last ones will be this one and this one. So you'll end up with 6 different terms. So 2x squared times x is going to give you 2x to the third. 2x squared times minus 2, follow the yellow lines, is going to be minus 4x squared. In the middle, the pink is going to be minus 3x times x, so that's minus 3x squared, and minus 3x times minus 2. So that's going to be plus 6x. And then now we can move on to our blue. So this is going to be plus 5 times x. And then this is going to be plus 5 times minus 2. So minus 10. And now we can go ahead and combine whatever is the same. So I see that I only have one x cubed term. I see the next 2 are both x squareds. I can combine those. I see these 2 are both x's. I combine those. And they're all in order. So my final answer here is 2x cubed from here. This is minus 4x squared minus 3x squared. So you have a total of minus 7x squareds. Here I have 6 x's and 5 x's to add together. So I have 11 x's. And then minus 10 goes there. So that's my final answer on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 combine down to simplify with only 4 terms. Now, I don't think I've left enough room here, but when you have more than 2 binomials, so these first 2 you would do with FOIL like we did before, but now you're going to have 2 things times 2 things times 2 things. So you'll end up multiplying 8 different times. I would suggest that you do 2 at a time only. So like multiply these 2 out to get a trinomial and then multiply these. So it'll be multiple steps, as you can see. And I'm just going to forge ahead. You'll be writing these down. So I'm going to do these 2 first and get a trinomial, and then I will multiply those second. So the first 2 are x times x. The outsides are x times -1, so that's minus 1x. The insides are plus 2x. And then the last two are minus 2. So these two multiply to give me this, and this combines to x squared. These two combine, that's a plus x minus 2. So now I have a trinomial, and now I'm going to go back and pull this one in, x minus 3. So I should probably just put this one here. I'll put this on the back or something. We'll just skip that for now. So now you're going to go back to what we did here. Everything multiplies everything else. We're going to end up with 6 total. So the first two, grab my yellow, it's going to be x squared times x. That's an x cubed. And then I'm going to go x squared times minus 3. So that's minus 3x squared. I'm going to grab my pink. You know, I like to grab my pink here. So then I'm going to do x times x. That'll give me another x squared. And I'm going to do x times minus 3, minus 3x. The third colors I'm going to do are here, minus 2x. And then here, plus 6. So again, I can combine whatever is the same. There are no other x cubes, so I'm just going to write that. These are x squareds, so that's minus 3 plus 1, so that'll be minus 2x squared. These can be added together because those are both x's, so that's minus 5x. And then this is all by itself, so that's plus 6. So there are 2 examples of what you can do on your own. So what I'm going to do is stop the video now because I think this is long enough. And then I'm going to do these other 4 in a separate video because I want to show you how a little shortcut on it. And so you should be able to get started on the assignment, especially with the student journal pages. And again, I'll put this on a separate video. Good luck.